I found him, ladies and gentlemen. The most underrated player in Dynasty Fantasy Football, and we found him where nobody else was looking. I think that this is how he has slid under the radar, and I want to go through exactly how he is so underrated, what we should be looking to trade for him, and some real trade examples that we were able to grab from y'all on Twitter. But before we get into it, make sure you go down there, drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you play Dynasty Fantasy Football, and of course, if you play Dynasty, you are going to love FlockFantasy.com. There you can find all my Dynasty rankings and all the Dynasty rankings of all your favorite content creators, all of my Dynasty premium content, and all the premium content of your favorite Dynasty Fantasy Football creators. Plus, when you sign up with promo code FLOCK with the link in the comment section or the description, you're going to get 30% off any subscription, and yours truly will go through and make a podcast breaking down your Dynasty team. But I think that should be about it. And before we dive into exactly how underrated this player is, I want to set the stage, right? Because this past year, no, he did not win football leagues. No, he did not go out there and put on a show for everybody. But he has a pretty big reason why he didn't. He was dealing with some of, if not the worst quarterback play in the entire NFL last year. If you were looking at his starting quarterback was behind Carson Wentz, Davis Mills, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Matt Ryan, Zach Wilson, and Mac Jones in adjusted yards per pass attempt. In my mind, the easiest way to go through and evaluate quarterback play. And if you are looking at this player, it's not like you would ever expect that he would have been productive in general, right? Even beyond the horrendous quarterback play. If you look at the tight end position in general, these players legitimately never score fantasy points early on in their respective NFL careers. I mean, this was actually put out on FlockFantasy.com by Zach over there at Dynastyland Football. Super interesting article that he wrote about early career tight end production. And essentially what he did is he went through and looked for the past 10 seasons at rookie tight ends and how much they produced. And the amount of top 12 rookie fantasy seasons for first round drafted tight ends, you had 2 out of 9. For second round drafted tight ends, you had 0 out of 18. For third round guys, 0 out of 29. If you go through and look at this for top 15 as well, I mean, you have only one guy adding on to the list, and that was in the second round. If you're looking at top 20, you have, I mean, keep in mind, this is top 20. You're just relevant at this point. We don't even know if we can start you if you're a top 20 guy. 3 tight ends that were first round picks being top 20 options their rookie season. 17% of the second rounders were top 20 guys, and only 3% of the third rounders were top 20 guys. I mean, we're always out here saying, yeah, tight ends don't produce as rookies. Tight ends don't produce early on in their NFL careers. Just fade these guys. Please avoid them. They're never really going to see their dynasty value skyrocket, even if they have impressive starts to their NFL career, which Pat Freiermuth has so far. I mean, if you're looking at Pat Freiermuth, this is a tight end that, despite Kenny Pickett's atrocious quarterback play this past year, was able to be the tight end 11 from a fantasy points per game perspective. That was an improvement from where he was the tight end 16 in 2021. He improved his overall receiving yards per game from 31 to 45, a massive jump. He improved his targets per game from 4.9 to 6.1. He improved his target share in this Pittsburgh Steelers offense from 12.5% to slightly over 18%. To see any tight end in the NFL to get to an 18% team target share, it's incredibly impressive. But for a year 2 tight end to do it, it's almost unheard of. Now, I think the primary reason why you've had Pat Freiermuth sliding down dynasty boards and honestly going overlooked by most dynasty owners is the fact that the touchdown rate fell off. And this is something we talk about over and over and over again. And what is going to be most predictive season to season will be advanced metrics such as the target share that the player has in their offense combined with their yards per route run. That is what we want to see climb. That is what we want to be chasing, where touchdown rate is primarily going to be volatile because it's such a small sample thing. I mean, if you think about it, if you're looking at yards per route run, how many routes are you running during a game? 1 million. So there, it's going to be a much larger sample than if you're scoring 3 touchdowns or 5 touchdowns. In reality, there's not that much of a difference. It's not that predictive, and it will dramatically skew your overall fantasy points and touchdown rate. So this is something that I primarily want to be overlooking as we go through and evaluate these guys. And you saw the touchdown rate fall from about 9% as a rookie for Pat Freiermuth down to barely 2% this past season. So that's why his fantasy points didn't jump up for him to be a top 5 option, right? That's why he stayed down there as a low-end tight end 1, but all the other measures improved. His yards per route run went from 1.5 to 1.8. His air yards per game went from 27 to 50. Those are all the key metrics that we want to be looking at. And what I did here is I went to Rotoviz, and this is what I wanted to accomplish. I wanted to see tight ends that had this specific start, right? I wanted to see tight ends that were able to go through and establish themselves as rookies. So we are putting the bar here at 2.6 receptions, right? You just have to get involved as a rookie. If you're getting 2.6 receptions per game, I'm not going to sit here and act like you're a league winner, but you're getting in the mix extremely early on in your NFL career, indicating that you have significantly more talent than the average rookie tight end. But not only did I want to see the fact that these guys got involved as rookies, but they continue to improve going into year 2. So we set the minimum thresholds going back to the year 2000 at 2.6 receptions as a rookie and 4.5 receptions as a sophomore, which, keep in mind, Pat Freiermuth hit both of these marks. And here are the tight ends that came back with this list. Now, ignore Jordan Matthews. He came into the NFL as a wide receiver, transitioned extremely late to a tight end just to try to save his career. In reality, he's not a tight end. Ignore him on this list. You have, of course, the guy we're going to be talking about, Pat Freiermuth. Of course, he'll be on here. Outside of that, we have Rob Gronkowski. Not sure if you've heard of the man, but he's pretty good. Jimmy Graham. Not sure if you've heard of him, but he's pretty good as well. George Kittle. Yeah, that guy over there in San Francisco. Aaron Hernandez, Jeremy Shockey, and Jordan Reed. Obviously, Jordan Reed, I mean, an unreal start to his NFL career. It was just primarily the concussions and why he didn't look like the next Jimmy Graham, right? But overall, you were looking at a list of essentially Hall of Fame level players, plus a couple elite fantasy options such as a George Kittle. This is the who's who of tight end. But this is the big time issue with the tight end position in general. This is why I'm lower on Michael Mayer than most people. I'm lower on Dalton Kincaid than most people. And it's not to take anything away from those guys, but if we're going to combine these two factors, right? We're going to combine the article that Zach wrote on flogfantasy.com showing us that, I mean, in reality, you are never expecting a rookie tight end to do literally anything. And then on top of this, when that rookie tight end, that sophomore tight end in Pat Freiermuth goes out there and has one of the best starts we've ever seen from a tight end going back to the year 2000, it's not like all of a sudden he's viewed as an elite level asset. Like if I'm going to head over to Keep Trade Cut right now, Pat Freiermuth has an ADP of 100. He is currently going behind Rachaad White. Give me Pat Freiermuth. He's currently going behind Devon Achane, who is a running back that's literally an early second round pick in rookie drafts, right? So imagine you take the risk. You gamble on a rookie tight end in Pat Freiermuth. It's almost the best case scenario of what happens over the next 2 years. And you think, oh my gosh, I just hit on a diamond in the rough. I just found a rookie tight end to be productive. Can I go through and can I sell this guy for double what I paid? I drafted him in the second round. Can I sell him for a mid first? No, he's going behind guys that are going in the second round of rookie drafts currently. I mean, hell, he's going behind Deontay Johnson. I don't get this. I am willing to go out there and pay up for Pat Freiermuth. And I really want to also throw into this video that this is the exact reason why you should not be reaching on Dalton Kincaid, why you should not be reaching on Michael Mayer, because they would be lucky to have the start to their careers that Pat Freiermuth has had so far. And even if Dalton Kincaid goes out there and does what Pat Freiermuth has done through the first 2 years of his NFL career, which is really just in line with Rob Gronkowski, Jimmy Graham, George Kittle type level players, then you're still not really being able to get an early first round pick for him. Dalton Kincaid at that point's what, worth a late first, similar to what Pat Freiermuth is now. If that's, So yeah, don't be drafting those rookies. Instead, trade for Pat Freiermuth. If we're going to look at some recent Pat Freiermuth trades, we grabbed these from Twitter. I tweeted out like a couple days ago, hey, if you've made a trade over the past week, drop it below. We had like 150 responses. So as I figured we'd make this Pat Freiermuth video, we went through and scrolled until we found a couple Pat Freiermuth trades. This first one, literal no-brainer, right? Pat Freiermuth and Tyler Algier versus Irv Smith Jr., Zach Evans, a running back that's literally nothing, and a future second. So you're essentially trading Zach Evans for Tyler Algier. I'd rather have Algier in the premium handcuff running back there. And we're trading away a second-round pick in Irv Smith Jr. for Pat Freiermuth. Give me Pat Freiermuth. If we're looking at the other deal, this one's a little bit closer. And of course, this one is extremely dependent on your specific team and your specific league format. This is going to be Austin Eckler versus Pat Freiermuth in the 110. And if you are playing in, say, a one quarterback format where you are a contending team and there's no tight end premium, of course, I'll go ahead and I'll take Austin Eckler in that instance. But if you're playing in maybe a super flex tight end premium format, which the vast majority of people watching this video should be playing in, then hell, I mean, I may take Freiermuth here unless we are an extremely strong contender. Like if you think you could possibly get like Zay Flowers to the 110 and you're saying, well, man, you know what? I'm getting 1.5 points per reception for the tight end position. I don't know if I'm a contender this next year. Let me just go ahead and let me build for the long term. This is the best you can get. This is the best you can get. In general, I'm going to get in Pat Freiermuth. Okay. I don't care if I have to pay up a little bit. I understand they draft Darnell Washington, but in reality, I don't expect Darnell Washington to come out here and take a respectable target share. I don't expect really too many snaps to be taken from Pat Freiermuth. In my mind, they are kind of two different positions in how they both operate as a tight end. And if you're going to be looking at this Pittsburgh Steelers team, what's very interesting is they don't go through and add on to their wide receiver depth. I mean, we've seen time and time again, the Pittsburgh Steelers feel like they need to go through and they need to grab a wide receiver in the second round. Well, this is the first time in a long time they don't have an extremely strong wide receiver 3. They're just really sitting here with George Pickens as well as Deontay Johnson. So Freiermuth is the de facto number 3 in this offense. And on top of this, we should assume that Kenny Pickett improves going into year 2. And obviously, tight ends are going to improve going into year 3, year 4, year 5. But I think that's all I have for you. Again, thank you so much for being a member of the flock. Let me know what you think of Pat Freiermuth in the comment section below. And of course, if you have not done so already, go down there, join the flock. You can find a link in the comment section, find it in the description. Sign up for flockfantasy.com with promo code FLOCK, and you're going to get 30% off any subscription. And yours truly, with promo code FLOCK, will go through and break down your Dynasty team in a podcast. But thank you again. I really do appreciate y'all and really hope you have a great day.